Rochelle, you met Jared Fogle back in 2007. You were a reporter, and you say that he made some remarks to you that triggered you to actually go to the authorities. What happened?
The remarks that he made to me were really just off the cuff, and he told me that he thought that middle school girls were so hot.
And this just came out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere. We were actually at a school here in my area, and he was with the American Heart Association, and we were preparing. I was doing TV and radio at the time, and I was on the stage in the auditorium. We were waiting for the group of kids to come in, and he thought that we were just by ourselves having a one-on-one conversation, when in fact my cameraman, who was just off in the gymnasium, said he was recording us. And he heard Jared say that to me. We were having just a nice conversation, and he just came out of the blue when we were talking about the kids, and he said that he thought that the middle school girls were hot.
Did you say anything to him, or I mean, I don't even know what one would say.
Well, I was in shock, and I actually was questioning, did I really just hear what I think I heard? And I looked over at my cameraman, and he just dropped his jaw. He was just astounded, as I was.
And in the conversations with him over the years, which you say the FBI had you record, did he say more? Did he talk about sexual relations with underage children?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He was. It was just something that he really enjoyed, and he trusted me for unknown reasons. I seem to have by nature, my personality is very comforting, and people seem to take to me quite easily, and that's what happened with Jared. And he had said numerous times to me over the course of the years about having sex with minors.
And these were recorded conversations?
Recorded conversations, correct.
John, I mean, you talked about how vigilance is so important. The fact that Rochelle did the right thing in this situation, went to law enforcement, it underscores that when you have a feeling about someone or know they have such awful intentions, how important it is to actually say something.
Without a doubt, my hat is off to this lady for having the guts to go forward and pursue this. And this all started out of a small tip to local law enforcement in Indiana, who took it to state law enforcement and then on to the FBI and to federal law enforcement. And this is a great example of the public watching out, saying there's something wrong with this guy. And now hindsight is 2020. This is a world-class level 3 pedophile, and it's the perfect example of the average citizen like this wonderful woman, someone making that tip and taking it forward and taking a couple creeps off the streets.
And John, I mean, the scope of this whole thing, 14 victims, multiple states, and I mean, and again, this is something you've talked about before, but you can't tell what a child predator looks like. That, I mean, it can be anybody. This is somebody who was trusted, who was admired, who was, you know, known around the world.
You're absolutely right. You and I have often talked about this. It doesn't look like the guy under the bridge with the trench coat that is exposing himself to the children in the playground. It looks like every grandpa, everybody else out there. And here's a guy that has his own foundation. And the executive director of that foundation, police allege this guy, Russell Taylor, the executive director of this foundation, secretly videotaped children that came to his house, maybe children that he was working at the foundation. And these guys literally shared thousands. Now, they said that they have over 3,000 videos. They shared thousands of pictures of children either Jared molested or that this guy secretly videotaped in his home or motel rooms where he was with children, maybe children that were being helped by this foundation. We don't know that yet. But, you know, they just look like everybody else, and you really have to have your radar up.
Rochelle, Jared Fogle actually talked to you about putting cameras in your child's bedroom?
Yes, I had 2 young children at the time, and he talked to me about installing cameras, hidden cameras in their rooms, and asked me if I would choose which child I would like him to watch.
I mean, why did he even think that that would be something? I mean, that's just unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. You have to understand that during the time that I had with the FBI, I had to play a role. I had to play a certain part in order for Jared to be able to trust me further and talk further into detail.
So you made him comfortable enough that he would just continue to reveal himself?
That's correct.
Think about this, Anderson. He never once thought about his family, his 2 children, never once thought about his job and that he was a spokesperson for a big product, never once worried about that. He was so confident that he'd never get caught, so arrogant, so remorseless, that he bragged to this wonderful lady who outed him. But, you know, I'm very disturbed by the deal. And I'm holding out and hoping and praying that just this judge says, okay, you made a deal, but I'm going to give you the max. I'm going to make sure you're in prison as long as I can keep you there.
Which is totally within the judge's power to do that, regardless of whatever deal he has made with prosecutors. John will continue to follow it. Obviously, John Walsh thanking Rochelle Herman